Hey, what's going on, guys? We're here with another episode of Battle Pirates Cruising This No Quarter. This one's titled Stacking. What's stacking? We're going to do something a little different this week. I'm going to take you a step-by-step journey on how to do chargebacks. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Anyway, we got Ross with us.
Good evening, everyone.
We got Shark.
Hey, everybody.
We got Chuck.
Hello, everyone.
We got Derpy.
Well, I guess we sort of expected this.
And we got Stormcatcher.
Yeah, I'm here. But
And
not
also
here.
we got Watchmen waiting in the wings that will rotate in and at our earliest convenience. So let's just get right into it. And first we'll do the overall. What do you guys think about the raid? Shark, we'll start with you.
I hate the raid. Lots of problems, but I do have 61 million points. Next.
What do you hate about the raid?
Oh, overpowered turrets. Can't stack your ships correctly on HTML5 or Flash Player. Dead spots in the map where you're trying to move around. Overpowered, so you're taking way more damage than you should. Shall I go on?
Well, if you want to.
No, I'll let somebody else go in.
We got an hour. We're here.
Trust me, I could cover an hour with just my problems.
I got
Ross,
I
what do you
got
got?
26 million, and I just started the raid yesterday. I let it go for a couple of days. Tried Flash. Flagship continuously unstacks from the rest of the fleet, even though it's fixed.
And that's HTML5 or Flash? You say you're playing Flash?
Flash. I haven't tried the HTML yet.
Even HTML5 honestly seems to be working differently for different people because Shark says he's finding dead spots on the map and still having stacking issues in HTML5. I'm using HTML5 and I've actually found neither of those. So I'm also playing on a different browser, I believe, than what he is. I'm playing on Opera GX, which I've found actually out of all the different browsers I've tried, that's probably the best one to run HTML5 in. So some of you guys might want to try installing that and see how that works for you.
I'm running
I'm running Chrome.
Yeah.
I'm on Chrome.
What were you saying, Ross?
Well, I was just doing Chrome Flash, and I actually got I don't have any stacking problems right anymore. I was, but they are actually. I worked through that with them, and so I was pretty happy. Yeah, well, I mean, not pretty happy. My fleet works the way I think it should drive. That's all. My raid, I have a 57 million points, which is very high for. I mean, it's the low score, but that's the number wise. But for me, I think is relatively high. I'm not someone that's on the Discord in frustration. I'm disappointed.
Yes, you were. I saw you on there. Frustrated.
Yeah, I mean now anymore. I mean continuing on. I was.
I will buy the anymore part.
I was at the start. I was like, you gotta be kidding, because it's to me we're to the point where you gotta be kidding. I mean, I don't think they can release anything really well at all, and so I'm just disappointed in them, and not in the product, in the way they do their job, in the whole spiel. They've taken a really nice, my favorite hobby, and they make me cringe. And that's not how an entertainment game is supposed to be for me. I think I should enjoy logging in, checking on everything, and have fun from the minute I log in and start spending money on the game till the time I log out. And if I'm spending money, now I can see if I'm not spending money, it might be a grind. That's how I planned on it. It worked out, and I'd be willing to do the grind and the seat time and all that if I wasn't spending money and stuff. But if I'm spending some money, I'm kind of expecting some entertainment value or such. And I just don't. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not even feeling organization. I'm feeling it's like run by children, and I'm not being harsh. I'm not being whatever. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like overly negative. It's because I'm going by their record. It's just not. This isn't just one case. I truly am going by their record on releases. Every single release, as far back as I can think of, there's something wrong. Well, there's a point where you got to be held accountable, and for me, that's now, and they're accountable. That's how I feel.
Cool. We'll move on and we'll talk to Stormcatcher and ask him what he thinks. And while he's talking, I'll rotate you out for watching real quick. Storm?
Where do I start? Let's see. Really not happy with it. I should be usually in any of the other raids and all that. I usually should be sitting about 20, 30 million points. But with kick size, downtime yesterday, I'm up to about like 11 million. These targets are not enjoyable. I have taken to hit the lower targets for points the best I can. Why my good fleets are sitting in repairs. I figured, heck with it. If I have to, I'll take the hit down penalty, but you can't take the Z-lots into the 60s, which, that just locked out some points there on me. I'm hitting the 62 with the 60 with my Pegasus, getting about 10 to 15 minutes repair. I'm hitting the C targets, and for the A sets and the X set, S set and the X set, I've been repairing. I am really not happy with this. I've had people tell me it's my driving, and excuse me that I'm not perfect at driving like they are. Some of us do have health problems, and we just aren't up to par like they are, and they just can't get that to their thick heads. But I'm doing the best I can, chugging along that I can, and out of the 3 days that the raid's been out, I may have only played 12 of them because I can't, either 12, 16, or something like that, because I'm in repairs. That's how my raid's going. Repair.
There you go. I guess we'll do the Sesame Street. Which one of these things is not like the other? Derpy, what are you thinking about the raid?
Well, honestly, I sort of like it at this point. Yeah, everyone else. I don't want to invalidate what anyone else said, but I did experience the stacking issues on Flash when I played it on Flash the first hour or two of the raid. Since then, I've been using HTML5 on Chrome, and things have been working completely fine. I do agree that the rollout here to start the raid was very rough, and I would have been extremely frustrated if I could only load Flash and couldn't drive my ships. I'm 25 million points. I haven't spent any coin on this thing since day one, and even then I've spent less than 100 coins. I don't need a lot in this raid at all. And targets, generally speaking, I like, although there is a lot of force damage you can't avoid, which I don't like. although it's not as bad as previously has been. So it's not perfect, but I hesitantly say I like it.
Derpy's drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm kidding. Yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Watchman, what do you think?
Yeah, okay. I think the damage is too high for the first rollout of the raid. I don't think enough players will be for it. The stacking issues. I found dead spots, especially in the 110s. To be honest with you, more so. I prefer to do the 112 targets. I upgraded as I went. Picking up the tokens and stuff like that, and dropped on the new corrosive battery 2s. I did see a difference, lower in damage. Now, as you know, in the past, I've always rolled for loads of crews. So I've been lucky. I had quite a few Grease Monkey crews. I use those. I can do 2 sets or 2 million points for 3 gold. That was acceptable. If it hadn't have been for the Grease Monkey crews, I don't know if I'd have been prepared to do this raid. Because I thought the damage was excessive for a first raid. To where I'd expect most of the player base to have their builds at. Yeah, that's it. I preferred the 112 target, actually. I found it more enjoyable driving than I did the 110, But I've finished the raid. I've got, what am I on? 79.5. Obviously, we've got that 5 million that they gave us as well. And now I'm upgrading my fleet to X1.
Cool. I guess we're down to me now. I guess we're going to be... Well, let's see. I hate this raid. I absolutely hate this raid. I know the first night there was about 6 hours that I didn't play because I got so pissed off and so fed up with the stacking issue that should have been a non-issue to begin with. That I even got kicked off not kicked off, but put in the quiet room on Discord for a little bit because I said somebody ping me when you fix the stacking because this is utter bullshit. And yeah, so I got quiet room for 30 minutes for that or whatever. So I told Gilly, hey, this is ridiculous. But yeah, then I think the damage is twice as much as what it should be. Full auto on a 110, in my opinion, I should be getting about 20 minutes damage. And that's not just me coming up with the random number off the top of my head. That's historically what we've come to expect from first raid targets from this team, having your fleet, at optimal level. I mean, this is not a made-up expectation. This is an expectation that they have actually put out there. So, in my personal opinion, we're 2 times over the damage of what we should be. And just because of the way it started off and because of where the damage is at, I'm just not finding this raid to be enjoyable at all. Yesterday, I didn't log in finally until 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I think I only did 2 sets, and then I called it a night. Today, I think I've done a set and a half so far. I'll probably do more later, but I'm not having any motivation to do this raid. I'm only at, I think I'm actually probably have the lowest amount of raid points on the panel, maybe. Stormcatcher might be below me. But I'm only at 22 million, and for me, that's abysmally low in a PvE event.
Yeah, you got more points than me.
Probably not many, though.
I only have 26 million.
Yeah, I've got about that. I have a 24 million, and I'm in a couple targets, or in a target. I do agree, Damnation, this raid isn't very exciting. I don't have a lot of motivation to hit targets. I think I played for an hour yesterday and an hour the day before. I do think where the damage in this raid is about twice what it was the previous raid. Although I don't really personally think that 20 minutes damage on auto is a realistic number.
I totally do, based on historically what it's been in the auto targets.
I mean, as I said earlier, I refitted as I went. I had a couple of refit tokens left over from the TLC. I also picked them up in this raid. But I mean, I was grabbing a corrosive battery 2, dropping it on, going out, getting the next little group of points, refitting the next one, refit the next one, progressively as I went. And I did see, the damage drop. Still not to the point where I'd say it was acceptable, but it was getting lower, so it was working. Yeah, I mean,
well, now see that's interesting because I put corrosive 2 on battery 2 on all my boats, and I saw no difference in my repair times whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree there. I switched over and I literally saved 2 minutes damage per ship. So the new battery I don't think is all that great.
Okay, I said it last night, and I will say it tonight. Damnation, I kind of agree with you about the damage is way too high, but I know where the problem is. Look at all the other raid ships. They already came out. When they came out, they had survivability on it.
Oh yeah, that's 100% the problem.
Okay, now with these, when they came out, there was no survivability.
Yep.
And the only way you can get it if you upgrade. For those of us that cannot upgrade because we're having a hard time with the TLC that came out, I think I may have done Prize Pack 1, and I think I may have ran Prize Pack 2. That was it. That's all I could do. So there went upgrade tokens, there went upgrade kits, there went ship build tokens and everything. And during, I guess, pillage, they may have had some in there and all that, but with everything that's going on with me, I was unable to do a lot of that. And other players that right now with everything going on, they couldn't do it either, which I'm saying they probably couldn't. So without the survivability on this hull when it came out, and the only way you can get it is upgrade, and you're just running with what you get on your armors, forget it. You cannot hit the X set. You cannot hit the S set without 2, 3, 4 hours of damage. This is just outright wrong.
Well, let's talk about the upgrades, because I went from U2 to U, and I bought the deal for U3, and I literally saw no difference.
I've been hearing people say that same exact thing over and over, that U3 really doesn't help that much.
Yep, I know. I personally have said that.
Now, I still have my lead ship is up to U2. The middle 3 are actually still at U1, which gives you basically nothing and was a 21-hour build for me. And then my last ship is up to X1. So my ships aren't very highly upgraded.
The only time that you ever get more survivability is at U3 and X1. So at U1, you get projectile speed, U2, evade bonus, and splash, which all my hulls right now are at U1. And without being up to U3 and U4, and well, we all know U4 with the drones, everybody's having fun has got up to that. But those of us who hasn't, well, yeah.
Well, and here's the funny part that makes that whole thing even more interesting is because they've told us for how long now, probably like a year and a half, that limited armors were optional. They've told us for a year and a half that upgrades were optional. But then they come out with this hull that has 0 survivability on it from the start. And what's the first thing they told us about like building your ships for this raid cycle? Getting high survivability is going to be very, very important. So you've just taken the last year and a half telling us upgrades and limited armors being optional and just blew it out of the water. Told us that was an absolute falsehood by saying high survival is really important and giving us a ship that had 0 survival to start.
Yeah, I mean,
you tell me why I'm supposed to ever trust anything you say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I managed to get my fleet to U2 before the start of the raid, just. I remember I'd saved the 2 weeks of tokens before we got the flag. I'd saved the 2 weeks of tokens before the raid started back, the original way to get the fleet. Yeah. So, yeah, I did all the bonus as much as I could to get things done on time. I did the TLC. And even at best, the best you could hope to get your fleet without spending any extra money on it was a U2 before this raid started. That is a damage level this raid should have been geared for. U2.
The raid should have been geared towards U0. That's what the raid should have been geared towards. They always say the targets are geared for.
I'm going to say a maximum, but I think it's it's like it's geared up for X1. That's that's why I don't agree with it. That's what I'm saying. It's like I did as much as I could, but and that was about throwing any extra money into the game, and buying any deals. Yeah, that was just saving as much as you could tokens, using your regular tokens and doing the TLC, that was available. The most anyone could hope to do doing those, was to get your fleet to U2. And at the very best, that's where it should have been geared at. But I still think it should have been a little bit lower than that because not everybody was capable of doing that. Yeah. But
okay,
I still think the damage is above the level of a U2 fleet.
Okay.
When the next raid comes out, those of us that's not got it to X1, we're still screwed.
You want to know what the... Oh, sorry.
Because, everybody on this panel knows, and a lot of people on Battle Pirates knows, that I am disabled. And with what's happened to me in the past couple of months has, caused a lot of problems and all that for me. Other people like that, well, there are other people that I've seen in the forums. I've seen friends that I've talked to and all that. They, with the way the times are right now, they can't do it. And they're teetering with quitting. And I'm trying to talk, I guess you could say I'm trying to talk them out of it because the only thing they can do is just try like I can. But for the next raid, I won't be at X1. Because it's like, 30-something days? So if I cannot get all the upgrade tokens and everything and upgrade kits and all that, there's a lot of us that are like that won't be able to do it. And either they'll be leaving the game or they will severely be behind because they'll have to build the next raid hull, which they may not be ready by the following set of raids. So I don't know, because you think when these targets for X and S are going to be TLC targets. Okay, are they going to be like this? Or are they going to have the damage turned down? Or will there be slight changes in them to get them away from being raid targets to TLC targets, pillage targets, and all that?
Okay, I think this is part of our problem. Why Kickside doesn't care about how much damage they put out for their first raid cycle. 511 million points. That's what the global leader has right now. As long as people continue to blitz and spend that kind of money to get that kind of points, Kickside is not going to listen to the normal players and lower the damage to where it should be.
Oh, they spent their stimulus check on this raid.
Stimulus check? I'd like to get a stimulus check. Yeah. That's just ridiculous.
I do want to.
I was going to say, let's hear from the opposite side of the coin now, because I'm sure he's had some time to digest what we had to say and probably has some things he wants to say. So take it away, Derpy.
I do want to say something about the zealots having no defense stats. That's true, but they do have a built-in aura that increases survival of all the zealots in the fleet. And if you just have 5 blank holes built, have 19,000 survival on them. So, and that's a lot to start out with. I just wanted to bring that up and say you don't only get survival from the armors and the upgrades.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to disagree. That's not a lot.
Not with each.
It's as much as you get from doing the entire one ship to X1 gets you about 20,000, which is the same as having 5 in a fleet.
Yeah, but if you have your ship at X1 and you have 5 in a fleet, how much do you get then? You get a lot. So just having 5,
Yeah, but
just having 5 blank hulls in a
the
fleet.
mechanics of survival. The mechanics of survival are diminishing returns. So having 40,000 instead of 20,000 isn't twice as good.
You're right.
Now, I'm going to say, like looking at it from the smaller player's perspective or the non-coiner's perspective or lower coiner. Okay, the wife space. Now she managed to save up to 2 weeks worth of tokens, but wasn't able to do the TLC. She didn't get the fleet built on time, and she's not really able to do this raid. It's so punishing that she's not even really going to do it. She'll hope to pick up some of the other things as she goes along. And they might just save the money and see if they come up with a deal before the end of the next raid, because there's she spends so much money on damage in this particular raid that it would just be cheaper to wait, carry on building, and do it in the final raid. Just do a cheap upgrade. There's no incentive for her to actually play this particular raid at the moment.
Hey, Damnation, put me in the
real quick, I want to go back to something Derpy was talking about. Okay, you said about the aura, and how that was really good and gave you a lot of survival. Wasn't the Punisher the same thing? Didn't it give you a stacking survival aura for its 2 survival bonuses? Plus, you started out with survival on the hull.
It probably did. You're probably right.
So, do you see where I'm coming from? It's like, well, okay, but it's still not near anywhere what we were getting before. By leaving that ability off in the first place.
I'm not sure how much the Punisher's. Let me check how much the Punisher stacking aura actually does give you.
Hey, Damnation, put me in the quiet room for a little bit and bring Ross back up. I got to step out for a minute.
All right. What do you got, Ross? You've been listening for a little while. I'm sure you have some things to throw in there.
Oh, yeah. I just I've been listening because I did cut it short on. I didn't get to add in what everything that I was disappointed on how my fleet performed, because I did the same thing as what I hear everybody else's. I did the campaigns. I spent a lot of my effort on a PvE fleet, and that I usually don't do. So I changed this. Usually, for me, I'm PvP. This time I changed. Now I went PvE, and I thought I was going to be really, really prepared. In fact, seriously, I coined I took the limited time offer on my fleet to U3, the whole fleet. So I not only did all the campaigns, did all that, and then I coined the fleet up to U3, and I can say, I know you were mentioning that you didn't see damaging. I didn't. What I saw was such small damage change that the coin repair amount was exactly the same. Now the minutes in repair might have been small, a little bit better, so that but not coin wise. The coin wise was exactly the same. Now there's no reason that I actually spend $20 on a fleet and have it perform the same. And so here's my silliness. So then, when I'm away on the background, I hadn't loaded the game today, not because out of anger. I'm just out of dissatisfaction. I'm just not happy. Well, I loaded and they have an offer right now where for 89 coins or something, off of what you already have, you can get I think it was some upgrade. I end up getting or I end up not getting it. So I'm sitting here with a fleet in upgrade in my shipyard, and now I don't have enough to finish it. So that's just kind of how the game's going for me. I don't need the. I've scored enough points and everything. I just don't think that there's any reason why right now that I should have any issue looking at kits or having a problem finding kits or wondering how many kits I have or need or anything. And it just goes back to further thing. How many months have kits been out? And I'm done hearing. I really am done hearing. We're going to wait till whatever. We're going to wait till REO. We're going to wait till to transition. We're going to wait till OP10. We're going to wait till OP8. It's always that. They're really poor at their job. That's it. And I wish these people would, 500 million. You got to be ridiculous. They really 500 million.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is that's what I was saying again. All right, it's a multi-layered thing. The damage is too high at the moment, I think, for where you could reasonably expect most of the player base to be. And, okay, and the problem with Kickstarter is they've always, we'll drop a deal for you, a time limit offer. You can buy it. But at this time, what's going on in the world at the moment, a lot of people, they haven't got as much disposable income as they had because a lot of people are restricted in the work that they can do. So some players that might take that offer are struggling. I'm seeing many disillusioned players. Many, I've spoken to a few over the last few days, and I don't want players to quit. Nobody wants players to quit. We don't want a diminishing player base. We want everyone to stay around. But Kickstarter have got to start thinking at the moment a little bit more reasonably about how much damage they're putting out to the player base if they want players to continue to engage in these targets, because I think at the moment, in the current state of the world, they're asking that little bit too much for the player base, like to expect them.
For me personally, I don't want to throw the current state of the world into the whole mix because, that's, in my opinion, that's neither here nor there. They have no control over that, just like we have no control over that. But I will say, as far as our expectation of what damage we should be taking, this is based on, historically with this actual team. I'm not talking historically from, the team before this one or the team before this one or the team before this one. I'm talking about from this team that we are currently dealing with. Historically, we have an expectation on where our damage is supposed to be the first time in the raid. It's supposed to be around this for this target, blah, 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 blah. And we're, nowhere close to what has historically been.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm seeing damage is probably somewhere about 1.5 to twice what it was the previous raid cycle. And Damnation, you are right that the Punishers do have a built-in survival as well as an aura. A fleet of 5 Punishers gives you 35,000 survival. A fleet of 5 Zealots gives you 19,000 survival.
Yeah, so that's a pretty significant difference there.
And and Punishers also have 6 armor slots, where our Zealots only have 4.
Correct. And I even went back farther than that and looked at the riots, and the riots also had a stacking survival buff, for each one that you have in the fleet, and came with survival built into the hull. So yeah, I think by not putting the survival on the hull in the first place is where they really dropped the ball this time around.
I have a question. So am I the only one on here that has problems with dead spots in the map?
No, I mentioned it.
No.
I did say I mentioned it. Yeah.
Okay,
I have had those before last week, and the week before that, but currently I don't.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
I can only, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It doesn't matter whether I'm in Flash or I'm on HTML5. I have the dead spots in the exact same spot on the exact same targets.
Would it be the 110?
No, it's the 508 mainly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just ran into a couple spots on a 508.
Oh, okay, I was finding it in the 110. Go on.
I can only speak to the 508 and the 112 because the 110 I just full auto the 110, but I've not run across any dead spots myself in the 112 and 508. But I'm wondering if it has anything to do with different browsers. Is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, maybe later tonight I'll download that other browser and try it just to see. But literally every single time, it's the exact same dead spots in every single 508. So I've learned to make sure that I don't click on those spots because I've hit so many of them that I know exactly where they are.
Yeah, and your fleet just stops dead, and it's like, hey, just shoot at me, man. I'm not moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I tell you what I have seen, like, because I might do the 508 and the 112 a little bit different from other people do, because what I do is, like, I go around and I take out all the boats, and then I just kind of auto the rest of the target. But what I have seen before is, as my fleet is autoing, it'll come up, like, be approaching a turret, and it'll stop, like, say, I don't know, like an eighth of an inch before it gets to the turret. It'll sit there for a minute, act like it's thinking, and then continue to move forward to the turret. I have seen that.
Yes, mine does that too.
Could you say that again, Damnation?
Like what I do, like how I do the 508 and the 112s is I go around and I kill all the boats first, and then I just kind of let it auto the rest of the target. And I said what I have seen is my boats, as on auto, they will approach a turret. They will approach it, stop like an eighth of an inch ahead of it, sit there and act like they're thinking about what they want to do for a minute, and then go the rest of the way forward and engage the target.
I've seen that quite a bit.
I noticed is over the course of the entire year, every time that we have a new raid cycle, they're always turning down the damage after we complain. Because they can't seem to get it tuned right at all.
They haven't turned it down in this raid, have they?
No.
Not that I know of.
No.
Their entire philosophy
Fix
is
the problem.
Their entire philosophy is it's easier to tune down than it is to tune up.
Well, I'll give them that, because if they start it too low and then they jack the damage up, everybody in the entire game is going to complain. Everybody.
Well, that's a general way they work, isn't it? It's like going damage at 14, yeah, and then wind it back down to 11, and then say, hey, look, we've thrown you a bone, but it's still too much, but it's better than it was, and it's like, hey, that as if they've done us a favour, yeah, but it's still overpowered. And sorry. The dead spots. What you were saying, the delay on your ships moving. Yeah, I've seen that. Even when I was driving Damnation, it was like you're clicking, and it seems like to hesitate for a second before it wants to move and hit the target. So yeah, I've seen like there's a little delay there.
And also the target, the turret in the 508 at the top, where you have to be on either left or right side of it or on the top of it to kill it. You can't be on the bottom side of it where it shows you're the closest to it. You can't shoot at it.
Weird. All right, well, I want to wrap up the raid here real quick because I want to get into the rules and engagement stuff a little bit. So
we haven't even gotten to the fun stuff yet, have we?
Good 20 minutes. Yeah. So anybody else have any last minute things that are important about the raid, or can we move on?
Real quick, people are using that X1 fleet with the remote raiders and absolutely wrecking the target for like 3, 4, 10 damage. I don't think Pixar really anticipated that. I'm not sure if that will continue on to the next raid, or they just make remote raiders so we can't roll it again.
I don't know.
But can I just comment upon that one? Sorry. Derpy, the amount of players that would have a load of remote raiders and have X1 fleets in this game, if they anticipated that we'd all, how many, if you've got that, then good luck to you. You deserve to do it for low repair, yeah? Maybe.
Yeah.
But for
Well,
but for the 98% of the player base that haven't got that, it shouldn't be targeted. The damage shouldn't be set for that.
Well, and not only that, but if they spend a couple $100 getting their fleet to X1, boo fucking who that they only take 12 minutes or 3 minutes of damage now. Boo fucking who, because they already spent like a couple $100 on upgrading their goddamn fleet in the first place.
You know?
Yep.
And the common players are going, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with this upgrades this time, they've totally missed the mark, in my opinion, from where it should be to be optional, you know, in my personal opinion. They totally missed the mark. But anyway, so that's it for the raid. Moving on. Rules of engagement is supposed to be next week. We're finally actually supposed to be getting it. So things that we know for sure at this point now. Tier 8 and Tier 9 Conquerors will not be allowed in defense fleets. So say goodbye to your Howlers. If you haven't started working your Howlers out of your guard already, you need to start doing it now. Then figure out what you can replace them with. That's also, I know some people are still running like Basilisk, for example, in their guard. Not going to be able to do that anymore. So work on figuring out what you're going to replace them with. Tier 9 Defenders will not be allowed to attack bases, which I guess that's just in case there's some kind of weird buff that comes later down the road from a defender that would like totally make it the attacking fleet invulnerable to going through. I think they're just hedging their bets that way they don't have to go back and nerf something or change something later.
I don't know. Did anyone actually try and run gatekeepers against the base?
No.
No.
This rules of engagement is also where we're going to switch over to. It's not like 50% an outpost anymore. It's not 100%. It's now all based around outposts, warehouses, radio tower, and great halls. If you kill those buildings, all of those buildings, you will get a win. If you do not kill all of those buildings, you will get a loss. So pretty pure, pretty clean cut and simple there, in my opinion. So when you attack a base, those are the buildings you have to be looking to destroy, and the hell with everything else. Bases and defense fleets will only stay damaged if the attacker wins. So you get free repair for your defense fleet and your base if they fail. Blue bubbles, the regular bubbles that we see all the time now, are only gained if your base is defeated. The red bubbles that they have in Bounty, when you get hit by somebody like, time after time, after 3 attempts, I think, you're now going to get that red bubble. And as far as how long it's going to last, I'm not sure, but we'll know more about that later. They're going to institute the thing where if you have more than 550 medals and you buy a 28-day bubble, you're going to drop down to 550. They're tweaking some base turrets whose debuffs are causing problems, bugs, or performance issues. These include the Wendigo, the Cannibal Wendigo, the Crier Adder, and the Glacial Launcher. So if you have those turrets in your base, be prepared. They're not going to work the same way after the update as what they're working now. And they are tweaking the stats on a number of hulls and turrets to ensure that it is feasible to win in a single hit, and that bases can also stop attackers too. More details soon.
And I expect them to get it right first time.
I expect it not
Perfectly balanced. More whiskey.
For me, I mean, I know that there's other opinions, but I hate to say, but I believe my game is gone when this happens. I just do not. I do the game that I liked. I started playing, designed based around that is now will be gone. Is how I'm looking at it. So they're going to have to pull something out of their hat to make me want to stay.
Is it mainly because of the no prepping?
Yeah. And the fact that here's the real thing is I don't have any confidence in that they'll get any of that right. I mean, historically, right, they won't. So
Can I say now that on the PvP changes that they said next week, yeah, it doesn't say anything about no prepping. Yeah,
there's no prepping.
Yes, actually, it specifically did. It said right there, and one of the last things I read about bases able to be taken in a single hit and able to defend at the same time.
For me, I'm going to say yay. Like today, I got prepped out 5 times before the guy came in, did the main hit. No more of that. Yay.
What I would have liked to see is, I think one hit, yeah, okay, sure, it can work. I think adding that Conqueror repair queue, which we're still expecting, right? I think that's a great thing.
To my knowledge, nothing was said about it in this post, but I think they are well aware that that's the main thing people are looking forward to.
Yeah, they said that in previous posts, I think. Anyway, I just refitted a Howler and upgraded it, although upgrades don't really help for a base guard fleet, so I'm going to have to change that out for, I guess, a third Gatekeeper or Gorgon or something. I'm also a bit scared about that one of the last lines in there. It says tweaking a bunch of other turrets and fleets to ensure things. We don't like our things being changed after you give them to us.
I think as far as turret wise, what they might be referring to there is the buff that they already told us that the Farsight and the Decimator were going to get. That may be what they're referring to there. But as far as the hulls, I have no idea what that's all about.
See, I still think you should be allowed to have at least a peek at a base then before you do the hit. You know what I mean? You know.
Theoretically, you can, because you get 3 chances against the base. So theoretically, one of those chances can be the peak.
I'm just sitting here thinking that I'm running with 3 Hal. I know this was coming, right? But preferably out of choice, because the way they work, not because I design the game. I don't design the game. That's just it. I'm running with 3 Howlers, bunch of Wendigos, all the things that they're going to nerf. They're going to make my game what I paid money to enjoy gone. And the people, no, I don't want to say that. Never mind. Yeah, all the parts that I enjoy, gone.
Here's my biggest concern in the whole thing. Like everything else aside, my biggest concern is they're balancing this around the tippy top part of the game, and everybody who's not at the tippy top is not going to be able to do shit. That's my biggest concern.
My biggest, I have. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I have a real concern about they're gonna buff or tweak the old fleets to make sure that they can hit bases. So is that going to mean they're going to make those old fleets overpowered now? That's a real concern.
That's not a concern of mine. I don't.
Like Howlers, are they going to give Howlers another upgrade to make them like that much more invincible?
Well, I think they would be looking at each ship individually. I don't think they would be like, okay, well, we're going to buff all tier 8 hulls or whatever. I'm pretty sure they would be looking at each ship individually.
Tier 8 hulls are probably going to fall off just like tier 7 and tier 6.
Yeah, I'm just worried about that balance.
Ain't going to get anything.
Right now we have that point where, I don't know, I think it might be, I don't know, maybe it might be easier to balance it around the majority of the game players, not the top end. But if you're going to balance the one-hit theory on the top end, we're going to have problems.
I agree.
2 things I want to kick in with. Obviously, they're nerfing the glacial turret. The what's the other one? hang on, just click over there.
The Wendigo, the Cannibal.
The Wendigos, the Cannibal Wendigos. So, right, okay, so there's no viable turret down at that level really that's going to be placed. It's going to be of much use that I can think of at the moment. Which is quite sad, because they haven't.
Are you talking currently or post nerf?
I'm talking currently. I mean, we don't have. We haven't.
Gosh. Currently, those turrets are owning PvP right now.
Yeah. Right.
Because they're making it so fleets can't even move, and their defenses go way down, and their reload is almost non-existent.
Yeah. Okay. So I understand that. Right. But they're they don't work all the time. Depends on how a fleet's built. Secondly, based level. Basically, how many turrets you can actually put into the high level turrets you can put into your base. On the heavy transformers. We could do with a little increase on that then to be able to drop a few of the newest heavy turrets in, because they should at least throw us a bone on that side. Yeah.
Well, hopefully they fix Shark's base power issue.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's the base power thing.
Yeah, I wonder if that will, because I don't have all the heavies yet myself, and I'm out of base power.
You know what it is? It's ever since they took the upgrades away from us that they released that they shouldn't have. I've had base power problems. When I take armor off of turrets, it doesn't add it back to my base power.
Oh, wait! You noticed? Yeah.
Now, see that's interesting, because for me it does. When I take the armor off, it definitely adds my base power back, because I've been right at the very edge before, and then drop back down, and then gone back up, and then drop back down.
Yeah, mine hasn't ever since they released the stuff that they shouldn't have. So my base has really been hurting over that.
Yours, I'm running on too short. I have two heavy turrets short, and I'm still out of power.
Yeah, I was in your same boat, and I finally figured out how I could scrap enough stuff that I got my last heavy turret in.
That's the whole thing. I'm still scrapped from the last smooth refractor that they did to fix the game on their problems. And then here's the part. Here's my thing. I'm not a game designer. I'm a player. I'm a coining player, a paying player. I'm not a game designer at any way. I don't even pretend to know how to do it, right? But I do know what I do know. You built this game that I play and enjoy around these features that you're saying are now broken. For how long you built them around your broken features? You did it. They did it, not me, right? So then to say all of a sudden, oh, the game's broken and we're going to take all these, we're going to fix them. It's a bunch of bullshit, in my opinion. I get it that things are broken, right? But the game is designed around brokenness, and I didn't do it. So as a customer, I got to feel way, way better than I am. That's all. That's it. Way better.
Yeah. Well, let's just say that the Cannibal Wendigo is an 18-day build. A couple of those. Yeah. And I know you can. Don't get me wrong. I understand you can use turrets.
Can I reply to Ross real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree, Ross. But at the same token, they've had how many different teams work on this game that are now no longer with the company, and that's part of the problem. They don't know what the team before did that messed something up. So now this new team comes in, and now they're trying to fix stuff. But so I'm going to give Kixeye a little bit of credit here. They're attempting to get stuff right.
No,
I'm gonna say even more fundamental than that problem is each of those teams that has worked on PvP in the past has a different view of what makes good PvP. Yep. And I think fundamentally that's more the issue than anything else. Because, this team had an idea of what they thought was great PvP. So they built everything around that idea, and then Team X comes in and they're like, oh my gosh, that's a terrible idea for PvP. So now we have to spend our entire time undoing what the last team did to rebuild it and what our vision is, instead of being able to adapt a little bit and maybe hit some middle ground.
Yeah, I just look at it like a chili sauce competition, yeah? That we've had 5 teams making different versions of chili sauce, yeah? And like, you know, none of them know how to cook the other one. And like, everything's different, and they've not looked at how the other guys have done it, you know? And yeah, it's a mess, yeah? And so I understand they're trying to adapt to some things, but I mean, the problem that we've got is with in nerfing, as you say, all right, no, yeah, I'm going to call it nerfing. You know, a few of the turrets that we currently have, they're not used because of their damage; they're used because of their abilities. And finding something to replace those is the issue that I have at the moment, currently. You know.
And so I want to hit Derpy and Chuck because they've been kind of quiet about this at this point. So I'm going to give them a chance to talk. Derpy, what are you thinking?
I think that some of these changes in here are good. I do see that a lot of the player base is very, very angry about this stuff and Howler's not working, and people are already quitting. I mean, give it a little bit to see if they change any of this, if it turns out to be better than you expected it to be, I guess. I think that some of these changes are definitely. I'm not sure if like for example, adding the second Conquer repair queue seems good to me. Fixing turrets that stop enemy fleets completely, that doesn't seem like it should be a thing in the game. So I think that some of these changes are definitely good. I don't PvP as much as everyone else. I'm not an expert on it. I do think we need to tune these to more than just the top level players. I think I've said enough stuff there.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's my biggest concern. That's going to be balanced at the tippy top, and the hell with everybody else. That's my big concern. Chuck, what do you got?
There's pros and cons with this change. I know I'm not liking it because I've got all the Cairo stuff that I just added. Now I have to pull it all out and do something with my howlers and replace them with something else. So I guess that's a lot more Gorgons, or we don't have 5 gatekeepers yet, but I guess that's coming.
Boring.
On that topic, real quick, you can only put in 3. You can only own 3 gatekeepers right now. They might add that in the future. And if you want organs, there's a atoll for the ferryman. Should be instant repair with your zealots.
The reason I said 5 is because Saltwater agreed to raise the aura stack to 5. And since it's 1 aura per gatekeeper, that means 5 ships are coming.
That's such an exciting feature. There's such a neat element to that.
I personally don't ever want 5 gatekeepers in my base. They are far too easy to just walk right past.
I don't really see that much changes with bases with these extra things to kill.
I don't either.
The whole no prepping, I'm not exactly happy with. But the excessive prepping, where it's 5, 6, 7, 8 preps before actually hitting the base, yeah, I'm happy that that's gone. They should be able to prep once and then do it.
Here's the problem, though, by removing percentages, how do you then determine what's a prep and what's a hit?
Yeah. You can't.
Yeah, with the bubble pad gone, that's a problem.
So I think logistically it has to be an all or nothing type of deal.
I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to do the base metals.
Well, I think that's obviously going to be the same. Obviously, if you kill it in one hit, you're going to win medals. If you don't, you lose medals. But the one thing I was surprised about, is the taking away the prep, because I think they make so much money from prepping. It seems a weird idea for them, financially, to take away all that money that they get from players that repair prep fleets.
No, well,
You know?
if you actually, you're going to get 3 chances though, and the first 2, if you don't make it, you don't have free repair. If you're the attacker, you have to coin to repair.
Yeah, and theoretically,
So you're going to be the attacker will still be kicking out some coins if he doesn't make it the first 2 times.
Now let me. Okay, I'm going to give you this one example. I hit a base the other day, that I found it, but I knew that if I went back in there again, I made a mistake. I could have got him. But that's quite rare. You know what I mean? In all honesty, normally, you're either going to get it or you're not. I made a mistake. I could have seen next time how I could have got his base on a one hit. Now then, but I don't think normally, most people do a prep or so. I could see them, losing a lot of income. And what I was going to say is that if I thought I'd hit that base properly in the first time to the best of my ability, I'm not going to come back in there again. I'm not going to come back in there again and try it again, because that would just what am I going to do? Just throw money away again? It's like it's doing the same thing. Expect the same as its definition of madness, isn't it? You know what I mean? Doing the same thing again and expecting to get a different result.
How is that any different than now, though? How is that any different than now?
Well,
because now if you hit a base and you think you did it to the best of your ability and you fail, you're probably still not going to go back. So I don't see any change there.
Oh, possibly. I don't know. I just it's just the fact that I know that obviously they're quite clear they make a lot of money on base preps and stuff like that. And from a company perspective, when they all seem to be after a cash grab, it seems a weird transition that we're making, that they're taking away that source of income for themselves,
I don't know. I don't see a problem with getting rid of all the preps myself, because basically anybody can get in anybody's base right now as long as you prep it enough times. And that's not healthy PvP.
But are you going to go back through and are you just going to look at changing, boosting 1-2 turrets and then and all the fleets that I have prior that I use in prepping? I have lots of fleets because I use different for things. Are those no longer, those are just wasted? And you're just going to buff the Warhound, or you're going to buff the Howler, or you're going to take a look and at all of it and go back through like you're doing the base, because that's what I think you're going to need to do. Or what I spent my time on is not going to be worth it. You just got rid of my half of it and then left me with, the fleets that I had, and you didn't give me for example, my trencher fleet. What's the value of my trencher fleet? Are you going to actually look at that also? Because that's going to need looked at. I'm going to need some value in that, in my opinion.
I agree.
I would agree when it comes to this. Let me say what I want to say. I agree to that when it comes to the trenchers, but you're looking at your other older fleets, like say Basilisks, Howlers, that kind of stuff. It's you've gotten a year and a half or however long out of use them. You can't expect them to last forever.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with the cycling out, but I don't want to see like a War or a Howler emerge past my trencher.
Right. I agree. I agree that the trencher is one that'll probably really have to be looked at.
Okay, I'm going to say something about all these base, everything's changing. Y'all have, yes, Kixeye's going to do what they want to do and all that, but you better get ready to bounty. Because are they going to have these effects in when you're trying to hit Kixeye employee bases? You prep them out. you can't prep them out. How you gonna get the points?
Okay. I hear people bring that up all the time, and here I can flat out answer this question for you.
Right.
XI bases and map bases have never, ever, ever followed any normal rule for PvP. So why do you think they would suddenly start doing it now?
Correct.
Yeah, you've always been able to do multiple hits on the bases. There's no 25% on the kickside play basis.
Okay, but how many people is going to enjoy hitting regular bases for bounty points when I've known some of they have prepped the base and then gone in for the main hit. Now, if they can't prep out the players that's got high bounty points anymore.
Well, it's all.
Well, yeah, it's not just for bounty. That's the way of the whole game now. It's not just for bounty. So bounty's not actually the problem in this whole thing.
Right.
Really.
I just depend. It's also crucial on that balance, on whether it can be fun and doable to not your average, I guess maybe your upper than average player. You know, that's my concern. I mean,
well, Ross, this has been my concern. Yeah, at the moment we're all trying to come up with a reasonable balance. You know, and I think we're not in such a bad place at the moment for the game. It's not that bad. The problem is if you could end up with obviously only the very, very highest level of players. You know, and I could include myself in it to some extent, and yourself with our Conqueror hulls. If they up the damage on those, we get a click to the back of the base fleet almost. You know, that can go through bases. Yeah, which means that anybody that hasn't got the very, very best in their base is a farm almost. You know, and that's going to be such a big amount of the player base, and I don't think it is that way quite at the moment. You know what I mean? So you know, I don't think anyone really. I didn't mind the prep because the prep involved a little bit of skill, a little bit of trying to take out the right stuff. You could get it right, you might not, but when it's a one hit, you could end up back in that old scenario again where we have a one hit. Like an overpowered fleet, you know, click to the back of the base almost, and there's no skill involved in that. It's like almost getting bases on auto, yeah, and that takes away any creativity in the game. You know what I mean? Or any skill. You know?
Well, to me, to a certain degree, the skill was gone out of the prep already when you come in and prep 7 fucking times. You know, it's like if you came in and prepped me once and then got in my base. Yes, I consider that skill. If you came in and prepped me 7 fucking times, that's not skill at all. That you bought your way into my base.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I think there should have been a limit on how many preps you can do. You know, but throwing it back on the other side, every time that guy comes in and preps your base and ends up getting a load of damage, Kickstarter will making money on that.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with my enjoyability of the game.
Oh no, I understand that, but you know, throwing back to the old thing is why are they theoretically chucking away income or revenue, you know what I mean? Because by taking that away, if somebody wants to prep you 5 times, you know, he's spending a lot of money to do it, you know. Not being funny, if someone wants to prep me 5 times, they're welcome to, you know what I mean? It's like, well done, you know what I mean? But if somebody can come in and get in my base in one hit with a click the back of the base fleet, then I'm going to be pissed off, you know.
I don't. I think without seeing what they plan on buffing and what they plan on nerfing and stuff, that's just a big area of speculation right there. Assuming that's going to be able to happen.
I don't know. Yeah, see, I don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what it's going to come down to is like we can all speculate and say what we think is going to happen, but none of us know exactly what's going to happen until we see it deployed and we see it in actual action. So my recommendation is if you're one of those people who are like, you're mad and you're pissed off, don't just up and quit the game before you even see what it is and give it a chance. That's my advice.
Yep.
Because it might turn out better than what you think it is. I mean, it could very well turn out to be shit, but at least you gave it an opportunity as opposed to just quitting as a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I agree with that because basically I've heard, sadly, a couple of people this week that said they're, you know, they're planning on quitting, and I hate to hear that. I really hate to hear it. And it's like, see it out. Let's see what, at least see where it goes. What this rules of engagement, where it takes us. At least see that out, please. And stay with the game. Give it a go. It's only another week or two. Stick with it, guys. And then let's say we speculate. We really don't know how it's going to play out yet, really. So
I've been trying to get back into PvP, and my base is still constantly being walked, just like it happened a few minutes ago. Somebody took out my dock, so there's 2 more hours downtime on. Yeah. Ross, tell Red Wings thank you. But I don't know if I might like these changes after everything that I've been trying to do. I've been having problems with base power. I'm still constantly building. I'm having to tear apart and everything. I might like the changes, but then again, it just might make everything worse. I don't know.
All right, real quick before I wrap it up, because we've gone over, I want to do BP next week. I'm just going to read down it real quick and tell you what's going on. Of course, we're going to get on Monday, we'll get the update notes, which is going to have support for Forsaken Mission, BXP Weekend, and 2 campaigns, Son of Poseidon and the Tides of March. It also includes the Rules of Engagement PvP update. They'll be doing their BP art showcase, and that's when Saltwater will do his comprehensive post with all the details of the PvP rule change. And like I said, that's on Monday. Tuesday, the Forsaken Mission briefing will be out. That's where we get our 2 new Zithian isotope farmers for the upcoming Mutineer Skirmish Hall, plus a new Praetorian target. I'm sure we're all happy about that. Yay. The Rules of Engagement, of course, will be here. And that update will begin at 9 p.m. kicks time. And then Wednesday, the new Forsaken Mission cycle will start. And then starting Friday will be the XP Weekend. And they also could take a note. They're doing the HTML5 survey. They want to make sure that everybody participates in the HTML5 as much as possible, because by the end of the year, this will be your only option to play Battle Pirates. So they need to identify any and all issues in advance so they can work on them and get them fixed before you have no choice but to play on HTML5. As I stated earlier, those of you who, like myself, maybe couldn't even get HTML5 to load on Chrome for whatever the reason is, I recommend downloading Opera GX. It's actually a gaming browser, and I found my personal experience with HTML5 on that browser to be rather nice, actually. So just an idea for you guys to get your HTML5 up and going on a different platform. So I think that'll wrap things up. I'm going to let everybody say goodbye. Chuck, I'll start with you, and then I'll rotate Shark back in.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Derp, you got any last-minute stuff, Derpy?
Not really.
Okie dokie. Watch
Oh, I got one thing.
Oh,
If you
okay,
still need to make changes to your Praetorian fleet, you got like 3 days of the raid left to do anything. Upgrades, refits, whatever.
There you go. Watchman?
Good luck to everyone in the raid. Hang on in there, guys, and see what we get with the rules of engagement.
Ross?
Oh, no, nothing. Just stay safe, everybody.
Stormcatcher?
Just play the game to the best of your abilities. Don't try to keep up with the top guys. Just have fun your way.
Shark?
I just want to say thanks everybody for watching, and just hang in there and see. Let's see what the changes are before we make any decisions.
Yep, I totally agree with that. I know a lot of people are pretty down on the rules of engagement stuff at the moment, but until you actually see it, you're not really going to know for sure. So hang in there, give it a chance, see what happens, and then you make your decision. Make an informed decision as opposed to a knee-jerk reaction decision. And once again, that browser was Opera GX. So, all right. Night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.